Hello guys, and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links. If you are here, that is most likely because you are a new player trying to figure out how to start off in this game. Now, it is pretty daunting given the amount of information that is thrust at you at the very beginning, and I'm here to give you a few tips and tricks as someone who has been playing this game for over 2 years now. I'm just going to tell you what I have learned and the easiest ways to progress in this game. Seeing as how I don't only have one account, but I have two. I will be showing both of those accounts on this episode. So, let's get into this. Alright guys, so in this very first scenario, I'm just going to give you my number one tip, which is learn to read your cards. Not only your cards, but your opponent's cards. And I'm going to tell you how. First and foremost, let's focus on reading our cards. If I click on my monster here, I can check two things, or I could do two things. I can either check the list, which shows me the materials attached to this XZ monster, and I can activate its effect. Also, if you'll notice, it shows up right here and right here with its text. So I can see everything right here, everything I need to know about it. I can see that it is rank 5. I can see that it's light type. I can see that it is a warrior XZ effect monster. I can see all of the text, okay? Everything is readily available to me. Also, if an opponent does something, I can check it in the duel log. So let's start at the very beginning. I activated with the field spell, or I started with the field spell Field of Warriors, which gives me Sogen. Or it's a skill, sorry. My opponent drew cards, and then I drew cards, because my opponent went first. Meaning, that's why they have their cards drawn first, okay? They activate Fusion Sage to add a polymerization. So I already know that he has a polymerization in his hand, okay? He then summons a Stratos, activates its effect, and searches for an elemental hero Sparkman. So immediately I know two of the cards that are in his hand. And I can read all of this through the duel log, okay? And if I was unsure of how he, say, got this Sparkman into his hand, I can click on this guy or on this guy on the field, and it will bring up this just like it did with my own, right? Pretty simple, right? Now, another thing that you can do is you can click your graveyard and check what's going on in your graveyard, right? So here we have Merlin, we have Until Noble Arms Are Needed once again, and we've got two of those, okay? So these are the cards in my graveyard, and I can read all about them here, just like I would do with anyone else, or with any other card. However, you can also do this during the opponent's turn. So here we are. As you can see, I have something that I have activatable, because they have just activated our Justice, which destroys some spells and traps on the field. But if I wanted to check that, right, I could be like, okay, let me actually read that. Let me see what's going on. I have this activatable. The game is now paused. Let me read what this does, okay? Also, if, say, for example, you wanted to read a different card on the field, and you couldn't quite access it from right here, you can click this little button right here, which will show you the game mat, right? And then I could be like, okay, what does this card do? Calburn. Let me read what this card does, right? Or let me read what Noble Arms of Destiny does, right? And then, or, you know, I could read a card in my hand, or I could check my extra deck. All of this is done on the opponent's turn before they have anything to do, right? They just activated their effect. I'm going to figure out what I want to do, okay? Pretty simple. Read your cards. Feel free to read them. Don't worry too much about time in PvP duels as well. You're mostly given a lot of time. Very rarely does it come up. But there you go. So you know all these missions that happen for every event where it's like, play a certain amount of ranked duels, and they show up every day, or, you know, you've got the weekly missions and stuff like that that show up every week. I'm here to tell you that honestly, they're not that important. You do not have to play this game every day. So I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what you should spend your gems on at the shop. What is the best boxes to go through? What decks should you buy? All of that stuff. First of all, ignore this page, the must buy. Ignore it. Also, things like items and specials, you should ignore it unless you're willing to actually spend money on this game. Some of these specials are really good. Paying $6.99 for both a Forbidden Chalice and a Forbidden Lance is really solid. Same with like paying, you know, $4.99 for a Raigeki Break or a Floodgate Trap Hole or a Paleozoic Canadia and a lot of this stuff. This is pretty good. Mirror Wall, not so much, but most of the rest of this stuff is pretty nice. Plus, you get 10 packs as well. So, that's something to definitely look for if you just want to spend a little bit of money. Those are some of the highest value items. As for these items, if you want to customize, you can spend gems and actual money to get stuff from here. But other than that, it's probably not worth it. Spending 500 gems kind of isn't worth it for just a game mat. But with that being said, decks are your best value item if you are willing to actually spend money on the deck and purchase 3 of the deck, because then you get all of the items that you need to play a pretty decent deck. I would suggest Cyberstyle Extreme. This deck is a top tier deck at the moment. It's not like actually one of the best decks, but it's right below those top decks. And you could definitely get to all the way to King of Games, which is the highest rank, with basically just buying 3 of these structure decks and then playing a bunch of free cards as well. The other cards that you would need is Cyber End Dragon and Cyber Dragon Veer, and that's it. Those are the only other cards you would need. Everything else is from right here. I guess the other thing that you could use is the other Cyber Dragon card, Cybernetic Overflow. That card's also incredibly useful, and I believe it's a rare in one of these boxes. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it is a rare in this box. Let me actually check. Yeah, it's a rare. It's pretty easy to obtain. You do a couple of pulls until you get only one of this card, and then you're done. So that's my suggestion. However, if I were to tell you what to actually spend your gems on, it's entirely up to you. Check out some decks on something like duellinksmeta.com or just anywhere else. Any deck that you seem to be interested in, go through, figure out what cards you need to play that deck, and then start building towards it. I would suggest something like from a mini box, for example, Harpies. Harpies are probably the best deck of the format right now. They come from a mini box. As you can see, all of their cards that are necessary are from this little mini box here, or they're entirely free to play with the in-game mechanics. You just farm up a couple of things and you're able to get the entire deck. So again, Harpy decks are great. If you do want to pull for a main box, do keep in mind that it is going to cost a lot more gems. It's going to take a lot longer. Like, for example, Fantastic Arc, if you wanted to get your BAs, right? You wanted to pull for Dante, you wanted to pull for Skarm. It's going to take a lot more time for you to get that. But also, it's going to be a lot more difficult just to continually put your resources into this, and you're gonna basically want to empty out this box of ultra rares at the very least before you reset it. Also, make sure that you reset the box when you get everything that you want. You can also go down here to bulk purchase settings, and this will show you like, hey, when I pull for a mini box, I want to make sure that I get all of my super rares and all of my ultra rares. But when I pull in a main box, I just want to have no ultra rares left, and I can leave some super rares. The reason I do this is because, as you can see, you get 2 super rares per main box. You only get the 1 ultra rare, so that's why you don't need to, you know, pull for super rares. You'll inevitably get all of the ones that you need. So there you go. That's a few things to keep in mind. Boxes that I do want to highlight are Signs of Harpy. Obviously, it's an insanely good deck, insanely good box. The other one is Spirit of the Beast. You get all of the Ritual Beast cards in there. You can also do Soul of Resurrection. You get all of the Shiranui cards that you need in there. And last but not least is Guardians of Rock. There's a lot of really good free-to-play decks from here, including Magnets and Triamids. So check those 3 mini boxes out. As for the rest, just play whatever you want, build whatever you want to. As I was saying, there's a few cool resources that you can use. If you go to the popularity ranking, you can see all of the most popular cards used in every deck from Platinum and above. Which is really cool. As you can see, Malevolent Sin, one of the best cards to obtain, and it's used in just about every deck. So there you go. We also can check by main deck monsters. We can check by spells and traps and extra decks. So do keep that in mind as well. We can also check the most popular skill. As you can see, it's Destiny Draw, followed by Ultimate Dragons, and then Harpies Hunting Ground, and then, you know, a bunch of other ones as well. So there you go. Really useful to see like what decks are currently being played, how they're being played, you know, what skills to maybe look for, right? You can go back to that and determine, hey, what skill do I want to get? What cards do I want to get with my dream tickets and stuff like that? So do keep that in mind. As for the rest of these, duel rooms will allow you to duel against other people that you may know in real life, or just other friends that you may have. You can create a room, you can enter a room, and it's pretty simple. Sometimes I'll host duel rooms as well. Casual duels, ignore them. It's just a bunch of people suiciding, so they only do it for experience and to get skills and stuff like that. It's really lame. Don't bother with that. Friend duels doesn't work. Friend duels doesn't work. It's not a thing. It doesn't happen. Just create a duel room. Replays are nice. You can, you know, if you enjoyed a duel, right? You can go like this. You can save it, save the duel, and then it will show up in your replays. And there it is, right there. So there you go. And then this is PvP results by region. So if this is just like cool stats, so you can see that I have 461 battles or duels against people from Central America, and here are all the stats for that. So just kind of little interesting tidbits there. All right, I am here to show you real quick one of the best resources out there. The reason that Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links has not died as of yet is because of duellinksmeta.com. Sorry, I don't know why I said that weird. Duellinksmeta.com right here. It's an insane resource. As you can see, we have some tournament results. We have a tier list update. They even have freaking meme reviews on here. You can also check out any spicy win streaks as well as just spicy decks down there. So if you wanted to check out meta decks, you could go right here. You could check out the tier list. Here's what people say are the best decks. Here's what the statistics say are the best decks. Pretty simple, right? And you can see this is by tournaments. We can take off tournaments, and now this is what it's like on the ladder, you know. You can also check out the history of ranked, or not ranked, but just tiered decks. As you can see, Harpies have been tiered for so long. Anyway, so there you go. Pretty useful resource, right? You can also go to top decks to check out what other people are playing. Also, there's a million ads. Just deal with it. It also takes forever to load. There we go. So, as we can see, the most played deck of the format right now is Abyss Actors. There are 34 decks currently in the format where people are playing this. You can see 16 people are playing Harpies, people are playing Water XZ, people are playing Destiny Heroes. Burning Abyss is a new deck. A lot of people are playing that. You can see right here, we have Ritual Beasts, we have Noble Knights, 2 decks that I've already mentioned. We also have, you know, things like Ancient Gears. We also have Yosenju, Valkyrie, Ninjas, you know, any of these decks down here. Maybe you want to check them out, be like, hey, I want to build Fortune Ladies. So you click on Fortune Ladies, you click on this one. You can see the skill that they're running. You can see maybe they're running a different engine other than just Fortune Ladies. You can see where they were able to make this, right? Either they got King of Games or they played in a tournament or something like that. You can see the place, if they placed in a tournament well or something along those lines, and then who it was, as well as even the price point in terms of gems and money for which to obtain this deck. Alright, so as you can see here, we have the skill. It tells you what the skill is. We have all of the cards within the deck. This is playing 30 cards here. And then you can see all of the different cards within the deck. Everything that you need to see. All of the things that they're playing, you know. All of that fun stuff. Also, you can see their extra deck right down here. Cool. Now, one thing you're probably wondering is how do I get the 6th and 7th slot in my extra deck? Well, it's actually pretty simple. All you have to do is synchro summon 100 times. So here we have Black Wings, a synchro summoning focused deck. So you could play something like this, or just any synchro summoning focused deck. Synchro summon 100 times, you'll get that 6th slot. Then, in order to obtain the 7th slot, similarly to the first one, is you gotta Xyz summon. So you Xyz summon 100 times, you'll get that 7th slot. If you are at all interested in how any of that works, I have a guide on specifically more of the summoning mechanics and the very, very basics of Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links. I will try and link that in the comments down below and potentially in the card up above, but don't count on that. You can check it out on my channel as well. Just look up Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links guide. Yeah, just Xyz summon, synchro summon. Pretty simple. You'll get those extra slots, and they are incredibly useful. So get those as soon as possible. Alright, so now we're going to talk about world missions, or just missions in general. So as you can see up here, we have the events, we have the world missions, and we have special missions. Special missions will be weekly missions, as well as lifetime missions. So most of these are like level up certain characters to specific levels, as well as sometimes you'll get like god cards or different skills by completing certain quests, right? Most of them are just, you get gems. Sometimes you'll get specific skills and stuff like that. Event missions will be mostly like duel and ranked duels, or just like play in the event, right? Like duel against Declan Akaba, you know, or, you know, duel against Anna Kaboom. It's pretty simple. You'll get more specifically event tokens for those. Sometimes you'll get cards like here, but most of the time it's just event stuff. So these you don't need to worry about too much. As for the world missions, this is how you level up in the world, and how eventually, when you level up the Duel Monsters world, if we click this and go to Yu-Gi-Oh, if you level up this world in particular all the way up to mission or to stage 60, then all of your NPCs will be level like 57 or something like that, which is higher than the standard 40 that most duelists are. But all in all, it kind of doesn't matter all that much. But as you can see, there are different missions. Win 30 duels, duel against legendary duelists a couple of times. It's pretty simple. Also, you will have all of the character unlock missions in here as well. So if there's a specific character here that you need to unlock or wants to unlock, you can look at all of these, choose to do these missions, and then you will be able to unlock the character when you've done all of them. It's pretty simple. If you have any questions about how to do anything in particular, you can look at right here. It will tell you all of it. It will give you the assessments or anything like that. So all of the information is readily available to you right there. Pretty simple. You don't need to worry too much about the stage missions. You do get gems for completing them, which is nice. So if you do need gems, go through and just do all of these easy missions. You get the same amount of gems for completing each stage. Every stage will give you 50 gems. So if you're looking to get gems from that, try and do some of the earlier stages instead of doing like the really later ones, because the later the stage is, so if I'm doing like stage 22, as you can see, they're a little bit more specific and more difficult to do than say some of the earlier stages. So if I were to go to like arc 5, where I'm only in stage like 6 or 7, yeah, I'm only in stage 6 here. So as you can see, I only need to win a couple of duels, get a duel assessment of 40, and achieve no damage wins. These are very simple, right, compared to the other ones. So if you're looking to get gems, go throughout all of the worlds and kind of level them up. And there you go. You'll get some gems and some nice rewards as well, gate keys and stuff. Alright, I want everyone to look at this deck. It's a meta deck. It's a top tier deck. It's okay to play this. You can play this deck. That's fine. If you enjoy playing this deck, play this deck. Absolutely. Do not feel bad about beating anyone with this deck. If you want to play meta, play meta. Everyone, look at this deck. This deck is rogue, at best. This deck is terrible. It's super fun, and you enjoy it. It's okay to play this deck. Play this deck. It's okay. If you beat someone, you thoroughly outplayed them. Way to go. Did you enjoy your time? I sure hope you did. It's okay to play rogue. You can play whatever deck you want. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Play whatever you want. Whatever's fun, play it. Enjoy it. Now look at this deck. This deck is what I use to auto-duel my way to victory. So, why does this deck work? Well, it's because it's very simple, right? You summon out either one of these guys, you attack into your opponent, you win. It's pretty simple. It's not that complicated, and the reason I use this deck in particular is because of the fact that if I were to go into a duel, right, against a random opponent, and I click this auto-duel button, the AI is going to have an easy time actually winning with this deck. Meaning, I can save a lot of time because I can click this little fast forward button, and it means that I won't just randomly die. As you can see, I won. Didn't take forever. But yeah, there you go. Auto duels. It's very simple. Play something like this, or like this. This deck also works. Blue Eyes is very similar in nature. It bricks a bit more, so I don't tend to use it as often as Red Eyes, but anything like this where it's just kind of a basic, very easy to play beat-down deck will work wonders for you in auto duels. Alright, let's talk about the card trader real quick. So, let's start from the left to the right. These cards are banned, and so now you can change them out for other cards. As you can see, I can go like this. I can change them out for a bunch of different cards if I wanted to. So it's from the same box. So if I were to go to this Cocytus here, I don't have any, but if I were to, I could switch it out for like a Gravekeeper's Guard or an Ally of Justice Quarantine or something like that, because it's from the same box. So there you go. But I would never do that because there's a chance that some of these cards do end up getting unbanned. So keep that in mind as well. Then we have upgrades to Prismatic and Glossy. They're just aesthetics. If you want to, you can change your cards, upgrade them, you know, make them shiny if you want to. Entirely up to you. So now we have the regular inventory. Every 8 hours, the shop will reset, and you will get new stock in the at the front there, but you will also be able to purchase another one of these items. So these are really important. There are a lot of really good cards that are in here, so do make sure that you check on this and get some of these important cards. Namely, Wandering King Wildwind. This card is insanely good for specifically not Synchrons, Resonators. It's really good. It basically is a free special summon. So, very nice. We have Chaos Hunter, which can special summon itself by discarding a card, and your opponent can't banish cards. Really useful. Tiki Soul is just a solid trap monster, so if you need to, like, special summon a trap monster, or you need traps for something, very useful. Same thing with Embodiment of Apophis. Then we have Delta, the Magnet Warrior, which is great for magnets. We have another banned card, Grass That's Greener. I don't know why they ever gave us this, but they did. We have Destiny Hero Decider, again, really good for Destiny Hero decks. We have Rose Lover, really good for plant decks. Mausoleum of the Emperor, this is really good for modulating life points for a lot of the missions that are necessary to, like, have a certain amount of life points to make a comeback victory, stuff like that. Because what you can do is you can plop this down in your field spell zone, and then you can tribute summon monsters by paying 1,000 life points per monster that would normally be used as a tribute summon, and then you can summon out that monster. Really good card. You pay life points, which is really nice for a lot of the missions, but it also just summons out a monster. So, very nice there. Then we have Harpies. Harpy Lady 1, insanely good card. We also have Spiritualism. If you don't have a lot of back row removal, so you don't have a way to deal with like spells or traps, this is a good one. You can return it to the hand, return a spell or trap card your opponent controls to the hand, and it can't be negated. So it's nice. It's a cheap option if you need that. Moving on, we have AD Changer. This is good with Red Eyes, which you will see in a little here. But a Red Eyes deck is good with something like AD Changer. We also have Lucky Iron Axe. This one's also pretty good with anything that you want to equip a card to. It gains 500 attack, which is very nice. So any monster just becomes better. And then the last cards that I want to talk about are these two, Burstinatrix and Avion. You get these from other means as well, but you can purchase more here if you need them. And they're really useful with this guy, Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. These are good because they fulfill a lot of requirements for various different strategies. That guy can burn, as well as he is a fusion, which is necessary for a lot of the stuff, a lot of like the missions in GX. So keep that in mind. As for the rest of this, it's pretty bland. However, we have a lot of stuff over here that is really good as well. We have things like Swamp Mirror and Quantum Cat, which are trap monsters, which are very nice. We have Magician's Rod, which is really solid for Dark Magician decks. We also have things like Aroma Garden, as well as Gate Keys and stuff like that. If you want to check what the actual card seller is selling, that, you know, he can cycle through, here's that easily. Notable cards are things like Kiteroid, Karibo, Triamid Pulse, and then Gigantic Castle. Those are the cards that I would look for. First off, most of the commons and rares are pretty lackluster, and you don't need many of. So, there you go. Just, that's how it works. Oh, also, last thing. If you don't have these jewels that are necessary here, you can go to Card Catalog for conversion, and I will show you how this works. So, here you can see I have 5 of these. I don't need 5 of any card because you can only play 3 of any specific card in a deck at a time. So what I can do is I can click this card, I can click convert, and I can go, yep, because it's saying, hey, you're going to convert an SR or above card. I'm going to say that's fine. And then it's going to take me to this, and I can choose, hey, I want to just get rid of these 2. And then I can click convert, and it will give me these items. So now I get these UR jewels, which I can use to buy other UR cards. Also, I can do the same thing with a batch convert, which I can say, hey, use SR and UR cards. This is going to leave me 3 of basic, glossy, and prismatic foils or cards. So I have a total of potentially having 9 of any specific card, but I can click this, and then it's going to do the same thing basically, and it's going to show me all of the stuff that I could obtain from doing this, right? All of the money, all the jewels and gems and stuff like that. So if you end up needing anything for a card trader card, you could do that there. Pretty simple. And now the last thing I want to do is show you a few decks that you can build really early on that will be incredibly valuable. So, here we have Red Eyes. This is a very, very basic build. As you can see, I'm not using many multiples of any cards. We have things like Shiny Black Sea Squatter. This one, you obtain it through events and stuff like that, login campaigns, all of that stuff. If you don't have this, play literally any other big beater. And a good way to look up how to find a specific card is going to this filter here. You click filter, you can figure out, hey, I want normal monsters that are specifically Fiend type and level 4. Bada bing, bada boom, it will show you all of the ones that you have. As you can see, I could put in Legend the Mystical Genie of the Lamp instead, right? So you can figure out whatever it is that you want. Maybe you don't want normal monsters, maybe you want just level and rank 4, or maybe you want them to be specifically warrior type. So I'm going to search warrior type monsters. Here's all the warrior type monsters that I have, and I can add those to the deck. Let's play Sparkman instead, right? So there you go. It's very simple. As for the skill, this can literally be anything. I think Grit's a great skill. Definitely use it if you have it. If you don't, you can play Life Boost Alpha. I think most decks or most characters start out with this pretty early. Or have an easy way to obtain this. So there you go. You can play something like that. So this one requires a little bit more specific work to actually make it function. First of all, instead of purchasing the Red Eyes structure deck, you would purchase this structure. No, wrong one. Sorry. You would purchase this structure deck, the EX one, which costs 1,000 gems, but you're getting significantly better cards. So do keep that in mind. However, if you don't have Alternative White Dragon, which was only obtainable through a special login event, then don't worry about it. You could just take out this card, play something else. You can play another Hallowed Life Barrier. You can play another Ultimate Providence. You can play whatever other traps that you so choose. You know, for example, I could play... Nope, not that guy. I could play, like, where is it? Enemy Controller. I could play this card. This card's insane. Get this card. There's a choice at the very beginning of the game on cards that you can get through like card tickets. Get this card. You also get it by completing the bingo mission early. So get this card. This card's insane. But yeah, this deck's pretty simple. It basically just focuses on using ancient rules, which allows you to special summon a level 5 or higher monster, normal monster from your hand in order to summon out your big blue eyes white dragon. And basically from there, you just attack into whatever it is and win. Even the auto duelist could do this. So it's very simple to use, very easy, very effective. I forgot to mention the skill, Ultimate Dragons. This isn't necessary. I don't remember how to get this, but you could play Ultimate Dragons, or you could not. Either way, it's fine. You could also play Alternative Evolution, which I think was a login reward, but I could be wrong. You could play this, or you could not. It's entirely up to you. But yeah, any skill is fine with these decks. Don't worry too much about that. So here is a free-to-play deck that will take a little bit more time and require you to go through a mini-box. This is Magnets. You only have to go through the mini-box once, and all you have to do is obtain things like Chaos Hunter or Delta the Magnet Warrior a couple of times, right? Pretty simple. All in all, a lot of these cards could be switched out for any other card that you may have, right? So don't feel pressured to play it exactly this way, right? The main important cards are Berserkion, which, again, you get by going through that mini-box once. You also get Valkyrion from ranked duels. So, again, you can get that. You can also get it from Yu-Gi-Oh! Just duel him a couple of times. Eventually, you'll get it. You can also get it by leveling him up. So, there you go. And then, basically, the strategy of this one is different from the other two, where it's not just attack into your opponent, but it's to actually get alpha, gamma, and beta either into the grave or onto the field, and then special summon from the hand your Berserkion or your Valkyrion onto the field, and then these two should be enough to basically clean up the game. This guy's the biggest beater in the game with 3,500, well, not the biggest, but one of the biggest, 3,500 attack, 3,800 defense, and then Berserkion also pops a card by banishing a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior from the monster, or from the graveyard, so very useful. And then this one is significantly more difficult to play, but significantly more rewarding. This is Ritual Beasts, which is personally probably one of my favorite decks. If it's definitely number 2 at the very least, right behind Dark Lords. But this deck is incredibly free to play friendly. As you can see, this is just going through the box once, and the only card that isn't from that specific box is Hallowed Life Barrier, and you could switch this out for basically anything. As long as it's not limited to 2. I can't play Enemy Controller in here or something like that. But any staple card you want to throw in, you can absolutely do that. So, you also don't need Destiny Draw, but this is probably the best skill in the game at the moment. Destiny Draw is insane. If you lose 200 life or 2,000 life points, you can basically pick and choose whatever card you want to draw, meaning you are almost guaranteed to draw whatever it is that you need. So, if you don't know how Ritual Beasts work, I have many videos on Ritual Beasts. Just try and find one of those. That will explain the combo, or at least show you some of the combo and how that functions. So, I would suggest doing that instead of actually trying to play this, or figure it out on your own. It's pretty complicated, but this is one of the best decks. It's super cheap, it's super rewarding, and the more that you play it, the better you'll get with it, and the easier it will be to continue to win. And then, of course, the more that you go through that singular box, the better it gets. Alright guys, so real quick, I know this video is going long, but I just wanted to show you some of the things that I have already gotten here in my free-to-play account. As you can see, I have things like Witchcrafter and Photons and stuff like that. But I just wanted to give you a quick show of what I got. And then I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this video was informative and that you guys did learn something from it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you did indeed enjoy, a like is very much appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links action, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.